Hello and welcome back to the channel for another Chainlink update. My name's Anthony, and in this video, you'll learn why Chainlink is likely on its way to new all-time highs this month. I'll also give you the exact price target to watch out for and the exact date investors need to be aware of. Towards the end of the video, we'll also talk about how this relates to the cryptocurrency market as a whole. And if you're someone who's serious about including cryptocurrencies and blockchain investings into your overall wealth building strategy, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and activate that bell notification to stay connected. The first thing I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about the correction that the Chainlink cryptocurrency just went through over the course of the last week and a half. And I want to talk a little bit about the significance of this candle and why I believe it may have been enough to reset the market. So first of all, off of Chainlink's most recent all-time high of just about $37, $36.87 on this chart, this candle represented a 43% drop from that high. And the other thing I want to point out to you is these are weekly candles. This is a weekly time frame. So each one of these candles represents 1 week's worth of price action. So what I'm saying to you is we were extremely overextended at this point on the weekly. If you can see, this is our uptrend line and we were way above it. So the trend line would have said that the fair valuation of Link would have been $21. Meanwhile, the overexuberance and the excitement of Chainlink investors had the market trading at roughly $37. But that 1 week drop essentially reset the market and set the table for future gains. Next, I want to talk to you about the potential chart pattern that I am watching and this whole cryptocurrency market is watching right now, and that is a symmetrical triangle. So if you look at my white lines here, you can see this uptrend, which was the one I showed you before. But you can also see this diagonal line coming down, and we had two price touches and potentially an upside breakout, which we did actually just see on the daily close. If I zoom out here, this is a bullish sign that we closed above this. I would have liked to see it on more volume, but this could be a breakout, and I'm going to explain to you what that could mean moving forward. But first, let's just define the symmetrical triangle. The symmetrical triangle, which can also be referred to as a coil, usually forms during a trend as a continuation pattern. So what are we continuing? We're continuing the uptrend. And as you can see in Chainlink, even if I scroll back, this is one of the most beautiful charts in cryptocurrency, by the way. You can see this clear uptrend. Here's a textbook example of what this looks like. You can see how this relates to what we were just looking at on our chart. And so some of the things we need to validate this pattern are a clear uptrend before it starts. 4 points, which are basically at least 2 points, both on the upside and the downside of this pattern. And you can see on this chart that we do have that. We've got multiple touches up top, potentially a breakout here, and 3 touches on the bottom. And the next thing we need to validate this is diminishing volume, which, as you can see, we clearly do have. You can see a downtrend line here. As if I grab my tool here and I take this back to the beginning, a lot of volume, and then you can kind of see a clear downtrend now. And next I want to talk about the duration. And this is something that a lot of crypto traders don't talk about, but I'm always big on duration. And really, we do need about a 3-week minimum for this to be considered a symmetrical triangle. Otherwise, this would be considered what we would call a pennant, which could also be bullish, but would be a different pattern. So all the boxes are checking off, but what does this mean? If this is indeed a breakout, how high could this go? So I'm going to tell you that right now. So if you take the highest point and the lowest point of the triangle, drag it to the breakout point, you will see a potential breakout target. In this case, we could be rising to $41.84. Now, that would potentially be an amazing breakout, but it's not $50, and I'm going to explain to you in a few minutes where the $50 came from that you saw in the thumbnail of this video, but that would potentially be an upside target. A more conservative target would be to the top of the triangle, which would be roughly $36 or $35. And also, what I really want you to be aware of as we move to the 4-hour here is I do believe that it's possible for this price to come back down and retest. So we could see overnight, this might not just keep going up, it might come down to retest this downward sloping trend line here to see if the breakout is real. I mean, what we want to see is we want to see this flip and turn into what we call support. So what I would keep an eye on over the next 24 hours is this price to fall back down to around, let's say, $29.50, and then for it to continue upwards. If you're looking to swing trade this is not financial advice, but this is potentially sound trading advice. Take that for what it's worth. But if you're looking to swing trade it, you might want to try and set a buy order around $29.50 and then try and take it up. Again, not financial advice. Now, is it possible for this to break out to the downside? Absolutely. If it were to break out down from here, we could be looking at a price as low as $13.81. Do I see that in this climate? No, not at all. I don't think it's likely at all. The probabilities of this breaking upwards are higher than it breaking down, but it could break down. I always like to give you guys both sides in all my videos. So that's great and all, but why did my thumbnail say $50? Well, if we do come back down and bounce around in here a little bit or widen this out, because it is possible that it will widen and go a little bit longer. One thing I wanted to make you aware of is that there is potentially an ascending wedge here. So if you look at these darker white lines, not this middle one, you can kind of get rid of that, but if you look at these darker ones and focus on those, that's an ascending broadening wedge. And another potential bullish outcome here might be we'll come back down and retest, and then we'll shoot from the bottom of this all the way up to the top. Maybe sometime around, let's say, March 23rd. And that would be roughly $48. And that is a real possibility. And that would be, of course, a new all-time high. And you'd see we'd hit resistance potentially here where we're seeing right now. Potentially we'll hit resistance here at $35, which is right around that old all-time high and where we saw resistance there. But if we break through there, we could also be coming to the top of this broadening wedge, which would be roughly $48. And that is a real possibility that I want to make you guys aware of. And this morning, I made a tweet that said the next altcoin boom is getting closer. The charts indicate a move on or before March 15th. And that was not only for Chainlink, you could also see this and apply this to the GRT, which is the graph token. You could also apply this to SNX, which is the synthetics token, and many other altcoins. And even since I tweeted this, you can see that Chainlink it may have just broken out. We got to see what happens now in the future. And the other thing I want to show you, which is so important, is the symmetrical triangle that I showed you that applies to Chainlink can also be seen here on the total cryptocurrency market capitalization, which means if you were to apply that same formula and look at our measured move from the breakout, you could be looking at a $2.14 trillion market cap for the whole cryptocurrency market, which would make prices of many cryptocurrencies a lot higher than they are now, because at the moment, the cryptocurrency market cap is only 1.6 trillion. So the market has consolidated, and I believe we are on the cusp of another big pump upwards. Time will tell. Nothing is guaranteed, but I'm getting a little bit excited. We saw a lot of pain over the last few weeks, and I do think that we are resetting and getting ready for a move. We'll see what happens. Smash the like button if you found value in this video. And let me know in the comment section, what are you seeing on the Chainlink charts? Am I missing anything? I also want to thank you for watching and wish you well. Take care, guys.